Do you believe in curses? Have you ever experienced something that made you doubt your own memory? And don't forget to subscribe for more chilling tales. The town of Willow Creek was ordinary in every way, small, quiet, and close-knit. People knew each other by name, shared smiles at the grocery store, and helped their neighbors without a second thought. But lately, something was wrong. People were beginning to forget things, not just small, insignificant things, but important details, even entire people. It started with a lost wallet or a forgotten errand, but it quickly grew into something much more terrifying. In Willow Creek, forgetting someone didn't just mean you couldn't remember their name. It meant they ceased to exist altogether, as if they were erased from reality. And now, the town was on the brink of a complete and irreversible oblivion. Willow Creek had always been a place where everyone knew everyone, the kind of town where secrets were rare and even the slightest change didn't go unnoticed. That's why, when Mrs. Thompson forgot the name of her hairdresser one crisp October morning, no one thought much of it. After all, she was pushing 70, and a little forgetfulness was expected. But when she walked into the salon, the hairdresser wasn't there. The chair sat empty, as if it had never been occupied. "Where's Sarah?" Mrs. Thompson asked, her voice trembling with uncertainty. The receptionist blinked, confused. "Sarah? We've never had a Sarah work here, Mrs. Thompson. Are you sure you're in the right place?" Mrs. Thompson felt a chill run down her spine. She was certain, absolutely certain, that Sarah had been her hairdresser for years. But now, it was as if Sarah had never existed at all. A week later, the entire town was buzzing with similar stories. People had begun to forget more than just names. They were forgetting entire people, their friends, neighbors, even family members. And the terrifying part, once someone was forgotten, they were gone. No photos, no memories, no records. It was as if they had never been there in the first place. David, a local high school teacher, noticed it first when one of his students failed to show up for class. He searched through the school records, but there was no trace of the student, no grades, no enrollment, nothing. When he asked his colleagues, they looked at him like he was crazy. "There's never been a student by that name, David," they told him. But David knew better. He could picture the boy's face, remember his voice, the way he always sat at the back of the class, doodling in his notebook. But now, even that memory was slipping away, like sand through his fingers. Panic spread through Willow Creek like wildfire. People clung to their loved ones, terrified they might wake up the next day and find them gone, erased from existence. But the more they tried to hold on, the faster the memories seemed to fade. As the days passed, the town grew emptier. Streets that were once bustling with life were now eerily quiet. Shops closed down, homes were abandoned, and soon the only sound was the whisper of the wind through the empty streets. David knew he had to do something before it was too late. He began researching, poring over old records and documents, trying to find a cause, a pattern, anything that could explain what was happening. But every lead turned into a dead end. It was as if the town itself was conspiring to keep its secrets hidden. Late one night, as he was combing through the town archives, David stumbled upon an old, faded newspaper clipping from decades ago. The headline read, "The Willow Creek Curse, a town doomed to forget." The article spoke of a curse placed on the town by a vengeful spirit, an old woman who had been wronged by the townsfolk long ago. Before her death, she swore that Willow Creek would suffer as she had suffered, that its people would forget, just as they had forgotten her. David's heart raced as he read the final line of the article. When the last memory fades, so too will the town, lost to time and history. Determined to break the curse, David sought out the oldest resident of Willow Creek, an ancient woman named Agnes who lived on the outskirts of town. She was frail and nearly blind, but her mind was still sharp. When David told her what was happening, she nodded slowly as if she had been expecting it. "The curse is real," she said, in a voice that was barely a whisper. "The spirit's name was Eliza. She was my grandmother's sister, wronged and forgotten by the town. To break the curse, you must remember her, speak her name, and honor her memory. Only then will the town be saved." David felt a surge of hope, but it was quickly replaced by dread. He knew that he was forgetting too, that soon he might not even remember why he had come to see Agnes. Time was running out. He raced back to town, his mind desperately clinging to the name, Eliza. But as he drove through the empty streets, he realized that Willow Creek was already fading. The buildings were crumbling, the roads were cracking, and the few remaining people were wandering aimlessly, their eyes vacant and lost. David stood in the center of the town square, shouting her name, Eliza, hoping against hope that it would be enough. But the silence was deafening. No one heard him. No one remembered. In his final moments, as the town around him crumbled into dust, David felt the last of his memories slipping away. He could no longer remember his own name or why he was there. All that was left was a vague sense of loss, a deep, aching emptiness. And then Willow Creek was gone. Nothing remained but an overgrown field where a town had once stood, its people forgotten, its history erased. Do you believe in curses? Have you ever experienced something that made you doubt your own memory? Share your stories in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more chilling tales like this one. Make sure to remember, before it's too late.